morning and a lot's going down. We got Texas Gas out here. They're gonna fix our curbs. They're also gonna put road base and asphalt back at the corner of our parking lot. Then we have our driveway and asphalt team out here, and we are getting our whole parking lot redone. We're gonna reseal it. So they're using a machine right now that's called a cold planer. It's basically a bunch of metal teeth in there that grind up all this asphalt, but the problem is, under that section is concrete. So they're having to grind off the asphalt and the concrete, and then we'll lay down base, get that slope right, and then we'll be good to go for ADA. Nothing better than the smell of hot asphalt in the morning. This awesome machine right here is called a hot box. When we use a small amount of asphalt, that can cool down on its way to our site. So what this does is it keeps the asphalt hot when you're using a small amount. Come check it out. This one has to open first. Woo! That smell. This is like a big oven. There's a burner on the side. He's going to get the asphalt right now. They're going to pour it in here, and it's going to keep it hot until we put it down on our parking lot. This is basically just like one of those medieval devices at the castle gates. You open this and just pour hot tar on all your enemies as they're sieging the fort. The other thing is usually private contractors don't have this. It's usually something that the city would have. But honestly, if you think about it, if you're driving like 2 hours away with hot mix, this thing is absolutely vital. So again, it's about hiring the right people. Our asphalt contractor is a badass, as you can see. So if you've been following along, you definitely can recognize that construction can be a show. Things go wrong, things get rescheduled all the time. But Texas Gas being here could not be more perfect. They ripped up this corner of our parking lot for some gas they had to put in, and I was worried that when we were doing the asphalt, they were gonna come back at a different time and it was gonna be mismatched. They showed up on the same day, and we're gonna get it all done at the same time. So sometimes things do work out. This was a week I was dreading because no other trades can be inside while we're sealing these 100-year-old floors. And let me tell you, these floors are one of the single most expensive items in this whole project. It's really a big part of the focal point of the entire project. So nailing these floors was paramount. What we had to do was a couple stages of buffing and sealing. The first sealer went down, it was a little bit blotchy. We could tell in spots where it took well that it was looking really good, but man, I was nervous. Like I said, these need to be executed perfectly. After the first coat dried, we buffed it down again and did the second coat of sealer, and now we're about 98% of the way to perfection. There's still a few little blotchy spots, but this floor looks freaking incredible. It is something that I am just so damn proud of. It's one of the biggest features. It's everywhere. It's on accent walls. You can see it from the street, and it's such a unique product that it really just shows how curated this space is. We had our third successful pour over at the $1 Million Pool. Just so happy with how everything's going over there. So we got the pump truck back out there. I freaking love that thing. It just makes our job so much easier. It went without a hiccup. And this time, if you remember, we had an 8-foot wall below. So now we're pouring the next 8 feet to about 16 feet tall. So that pump truck is about 40 feet down on the ground, all the way in the air, pumping concrete 16 feet high into our retaining wall. Those massive piers in the middle are so tricky because we have to get that big cardboard sonotube around the outside of it. So the guys were really having some trouble getting it on, but they got it on there. And again, I was so nervous about getting the forms up the side to hold in because that cardboard is not strong enough to hold the weight of all that concrete. The worst thing you want to happen is one of those forms bust and then we have a jelly donut all over the job site. I just love watching the pump truck operator use his little joystick like a video game, and he's just operating this hundreds of thousands of dollars machine all overhead with just accurate precision. Watching that go down is always awesome. I don't care how many times I've seen it before. So every time we have to let the concrete cure. So on Monday we poured, and then Thursday, which was yesterday, we broke forms and we started to take those off. And always it's just a little nervous moment because you want to see, did all this concrete settle right? Do you see any air pockets? Is everything nice and tight and plumb? And it freaking was. I'm pumped about it. That is such an intense project, and there's just been so much looming about executing it perfectly, and we are freaking continuing to nail it at every stage, passing our engineer inspections, first go-rounds. All the pours are going great. The forms are holding tight, and then when we break forms, it's all looking beautiful. Next step is we gotta bring in about 100 more tons of fill dirt and get that another 8 feet, so 16 feet high. And remember, we have to put it in at 8-inch increments and compact it every step of the way. So we have a really cool kitchen and bath and kind of a largely cosmetic remodel going. And just dollar amount wise, these aren't as big as our other projects, but man, it is coming out so awesome. We just got the front door in, and that is a statement from the outside of the home. And then looking inside, the first thing you see is this big rotunda with a curved staircase. And before, it was really dated, and it was something that was kind of an eyesore. And now it is such a focal point. We have custom white oak railings with wrought iron spindles. The whole thing just looks freaking majestic, like it's out of a movie. I'm expecting Cinderella to walk down the damn thing. Our clients are super happy, and we are really, really close to finishing out. Next week, the cabinets get delivered to that job site, and then it's gonna be a mad race to knock that baby out, and wait till you see the unveiling. It's gonna be awesome. So the overlook on Lake Travis. On one hand, our casita is going really well. We have largely all of our framing done, and then we put in a 40-foot steel I-beam in this tiny little house, because we're basically blowing out all the walls in the common spaces to where it's just a big open floor plan, to where a 1,500 square foot house feels more like a 2,500 square foot house now. Getting in these massive steel beams is like Jenga and Tetris all in one. They have to get this giant beam in, maneuver it all around, get it up into the ceiling, and then actually get it installed and tack it onto our steel posts. Then they do the final weld. So there is just so much precision involved with that, but they're absolute pros and they crushed it. Now, on the other hand, the main house. We're doing that damn water repipe from the recalled Kitech water lines. It is just dragging on. It is something that is difficult. We're meeting beams that we're having to penetrate through. There's masonry walls that we don't want to mess up. There's tile, there's cabinetry. This is really, really hairy, but we are knocking it out. I'm happy how it's going. I just wish that this wasn't even on our plate, because right now we could be tiling the whole damn house, getting wood floors in, drywall would be up. I mean, it's really just kind of thrown a wrench into things, but so be it. We're gonna keep pushing through it. At House of 1,000 Curves, all of our drywall's hung, and we love that because now we're officially in the finish out stage. Part of the finish out is all of the plumbing fixtures have been imported from really all over the world. Italy, France, Spain. There are all these custom units that have these detailed spec guides of how they need to be installed, and they're wall hung. And we had to do some framing with Pedro, and then we had to dry fit everything with Rod Plumbing so that we can get our brackets in. So a process that would just be one step that needed no direction is now 4 or 5 steps that needs multiple levels of coordination. But we nailed it. Also, we're digging a freaking tunnel to China in the basement. All of the ground is solid rock, and we had to dig out about 8 feet in almost a 300 square foot area. Now that that's all dug out, we have our rebar going in for the retaining walls. We're sending pictures to our engineer. They did a site visit. Everything's looking good. I want to get all that crap poured so that we can get away from the dirty work and really focus on the finish out. All right, y'all, what a hell of a week. We have so many moving pieces, the office being one of the biggest things that we're trying to push toward the finish line. We are dangerously close, and I'm excited to get into the office and get that off my plate so we can focus on all of our existing projects and the new wave of awesome projects that we have coming in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. I love you all. I'll see you next week.